A terrible mistake. Now take that exact feeling and multiply it by 100,000.
It's unimaginable pressure.
The number 100,000 is doing so much heavy lifting in that lyric. It vividly illustrates the sheer, sudden scale of the pressure. The human brain just isn't natively equipped to comprehend an audience of 100,000 people.
No, not at all. Evolutionarily, we are tribal.
Right. To suddenly have the eyes, the expectations, and the emotional investment of a small city focused entirely on you, it is deeply unnatural.
It creates a state of profound vulnerability, and that vulnerability is exactly what breeds the secondary layer of guilt you mentioned.
The survivor's guilt part.
Yeah. You feel terrified of the pressure, you feel anxious about the scale of it all, but you also possess the acute awareness that millions of other people would trade places with you in a heartbeat.
Oh, man.
They would do anything for the hand of cards you are currently holding. So you start feeling guilty simply for feeling anxious.
That's a trap.
It's a vicious emotional feedback loop. You are suffering under the weight of the success, and then you are relentlessly beating yourself up for suffering because logic tells you that you theoretically have no right to complain.
Let's use an analogy here to really cement what this feels like.
Sure.
Imagine walking into a dingy gas station and buying a lottery ticket. Against all odds, you win $100 million.
Okay, best day of my life so far.
Right. In a single second, all of your financial struggles are over. But now you have to walk from the counter, out the doors, across the parking lot, and into your car holding this tiny, fragile paper ticket that represents $100 million.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Suddenly, the win feels like a threat. Every person in the parking lot looks like a potential thief. The paranoia that you're going to drop it in a puddle or that it will blow out of your hand completely paralyzes you.
You'd be terrified.
You are rich beyond your wildest dreams, but you are utterly terrified. And the kicker is, you can't exactly call up your friends who are struggling to pay rent and complain to them about how incredibly stressful it is to hold a winning lottery ticket.
No, they'd hate you.
Exactly.
And the isolation in that scenario is palpable, and it mirrors the isolation in the lyrics perfectly. You are trapped by your own fortune.
Yeah. The specific phrasing, "these cards that I'm dealt," is crucial here too. Because in any card game, you have zero control over the cards you are dealt. Your only agency is in how you play the hand.
That's a great point.
By using that metaphor, the artist is recognizing the sheer luck and serendipity involved in achieving early, massive success. Yes, there was undeniable hard work during those long nights in the dorm room, but an explosion of support to the tune of 100,000 people inherently involves an element of chance.
Right. You can't engineer that completely.
You can't. And acknowledging that chance makes the fear of misplaying a royal flush absolutely agonizing.
So we have this artist trapped in a cycle of anticipatory grief, mourning a struggle he no longer has, and suffocating under the guilt of 100,000 fans.
That's a heavy place to be.
You cannot just exist in that state of paralysis forever. It would completely crush you.
No, you'd break.
And that is where the lyrics pivot to a survival mechanism. The conversation shifts to the antidote, which is the relentless driving mantra that actually gives the song its title. The "not here, not yet."
Yes. He repeats, "I'm not here, not yet. I got a long, long way to go. I know the best is yet to show."
This is a masterclass in psychological reframing.
Reframing.
Yes. By artificially moving the goalposts, the artist is directly addressing the narrative collapse we discussed earlier. If the human brain panics when the story is over, like when the credits roll in the video game,
Right.
the only way to survive that panic is to forcefully write a new chapter.
He is basically standing over the defeated final boss, looking at the game over screen and yelling, "No, I haven't beaten the game yet. That was just a tutorial. The real game is just starting."
That is exactly what he's doing.
And he repeats it with such intense commitment, like, with every last breath, "I know that we got it. I'm not here, not yet." He is actively refusing to accept the reality that 22 is the peak.
He is taking the absolute summit, the peak that was triggering the emotional bends and the terror of finality.
Yeah.
And he is cognitively demoting it to a base camp.
Oh, wow. Demoting it to a base camp.
Yeah, the psychological utility of chanting, "not here, not yet," is that it instantly restores the horizon. It artificially reintroduces the struggle.
It gives him a new dragon to chase.
Exactly. It sends a signal to the nervous system saying, do not power down. The quest is not over. We still have a long way to go. It is a highly adaptive protective mechanism designed to stave off the stagnation and the profound depression that frequently follows massive, life-altering achievements.
I hear that as a necessary survival tactic, but it sounds absolutely exhausting.
Oh, it's.
I have to push back on this idea that it's a perfect solution. If you are constantly telling yourself the best is yet to show and insisting that you have a long, long way to go, aren't you essentially robbing yourself of ever actually enjoying the view from the summit?
That is the risk.
If your eyes are permanently glued to the next horizon, do you completely miss the reality of where you are standing right now? Like, is this mantra actually healthy?
Well, that is the ultimate double-edged sword of ambition. It keeps the engine running, but it runs the engine incredibly hot.
Yeah, constantly revving.
The mindset of not here, not yet requires you to exist in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction. While reframing the summit as a base camp successfully keeps you moving forward, it fundamentally denies you the right to rest.
Which you need.
Right. You channel all of that anxiety about potentially losing your success into a relentless burning drive for more, simply so you don't have to stop and face the quiet.
Singing with every last breath is an intensely heavy way to live your life.
It is a phenomenal expenditure of energy. You are making a subconscious pact with yourself that you will never be fully satisfied.
Wow.
It is survival, without a doubt, but it comes at a very high physiological and emotional cost. You are running away from the void by constantly throwing new finish lines out in front of yourself.
So let's trace the arc of what we've unpacked here today, because it is a fascinating journey through the hidden architecture of rapid success.
It really is.
We started with the sheer whiplash of achieving 40-year-old milestones at the age of 22. We explored how skipping chapters in your own life's narrative triggers those emotional bends, leaving you terrified that the only way left to go is down.
The anticipatory grief.
Right. Then we unpacked the crushing weight of the past, looking back at the quiet dorm room and feeling the survivor's guilt of staring at 100,000 supporters, paralyzed by the fear of, dropping a winning lottery ticket. And finally, we looked at the relentless coping mechanism required to survive all of that pressure. Artificially moving your own goalposts, aggressively chanting, "I'm not here, not yet," just to ensure the story doesn't end.
It is a stark reminder that the internal landscape of achievement rarely matches the external celebration.
So true.
The psychological mechanisms required to manage an early arrival are vastly different from the tools required to make the climb in the first place.
And this is where I want to connect this directly back to you listening to this right now. Because you do not have to have 100,000 fans or a platinum record to experience this exact dynamic in your own life.
No, it's universal.
We all have our own dorm room moments. Those quiet, unglamorous periods of grinding away in obscurity, studying for a test, working for a promotion, or saving up for a massive life change.
Sort of a struggle phase.
Yeah. And when you finally hit those milestones, whether it's landing the job, finishing the degree, or like holding the keys to your first apartment, you have likely experienced that exact same bizarre cocktail of emotions.
That mix of highs and lows.
You feel a flash of relief, immediately followed by fear, guilt, and a sudden burning urge to look for the next mountain to climb. The question you have to ask yourself is, do you allow yourself the grace to actually celebrate those milestones, no matter the scale?
That's the hard part.
Or do you instantly move your own goalpost before the confetti even hits the floor?
It is a critical reflection for anyone striving for something greater. And I want to leave you with one final, lingering thought to mull over as you step back into your day.
Lay it on us.
We have clearly established that telling yourself, "I'm not here, not yet," is an incredibly powerful, effective tool to maintain forward momentum. It keeps you hungry.
Right.
But if your personal narrative is entirely built on the idea that you have a long way to go, and you are perpetually, endlessly chasing a new horizon, at what point do you finally give yourself permission to simply arrive? If you are always not yet, can you ever truly be here?
Because if you spend your entire life speed running the game just to find the next objective marker, you might look up at the very end and realize you never actually enjoyed playing it. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. Catch you next time.